So here are 3 takeaways about the relationship between the pandemic, the economy, and climate change. First, the pandemic is not good for the climate. It's looking like global CO2 emissions will decline by about 5% this year, give or take. But all this means is that in 2020, humanity will add roughly 35 gigatons of CO2 rather than the 37 gigatons it added last year. The atmospheric concentration of CO2 will still accumulate, and this means that in the long term, the impact on the climate is fairly negligible. That is, unless this year marks the beginning of a sustained transition away from fossil fuels going forward. The second takeaway is social distancing is not a good model for effective climate policy. The lesson is not that the best thing you can do for the climate is stay home, don't do anything, don't socialize, don't go out. That's the opposite of good climate policy. Instead, we should be rethinking how we power our societies, how we produce goods, and how we get around so that these things can be done sustainably. The trick of climate policy is to figure out how to get what we need, including social interaction, without adding to the world's carbon debt. Finally, the time for climate stimulus is very soon. Actually, the time for climate stimulus has been long ago, but we missed that opportunity. And we're now in an emergency situation where the focus of current government spending really should be to ensure that people have food, shelter, and access to medical care. It's the next round of stimulus, the one that's bound to come when this pandemic ends, that we must dedicate to supporting climate-smart investments. The international community failed to do this after the 2008 financial crisis, and we must not make that mistake again.